Hi. No. So, welcome everyone. First of all, before kicking up, and thank you for the introduction of this very important topic, cybersecurity, as for us, because it's our business. So that's for sure. But I think in general, cybersecurity, security in general, in regard talking about digital processes, about technology. It's an important topic, especially for us in Germany or in the European Union. But first of all, I really would like to thank the Internet 2.0 conference for inviting us and even asking us for holding a keynote for me personal, and especially holding the first keynote of the next 3 days. I didn't know it. They just sent me the agenda, and then I saw, oh, first keynote of the day. So after such a good panel discussion, even before, so the pressure on the stage is quite high, entertaining you for the next 30 minutes. Before we start with cybersecurity, how we try to evolve cybersecurity or enhance cybersecurity together with communication, a quick lesson about our name. Because in the introduction, you brilliantly pronounced the word Securenication, but as we are from Germany, and I don't know who's familiar with Germany, but some of us, they don't speak quite well the English language, and that's the reason why we always have a little preparation or training how to pronunciate our name or how we came to our name. By founding Securenication as an owner, I did a lot of IT security management, building up information security management systems throughout huge companies in Germany, DAX 40 corporations. And I said, all right, we have to do something with security. So being secure is something we really need in the name. And then, of course, we need an end part by putting communication in it. So the nication part definitely comes from communication from the end part. And that's the reason why we put it together and said, all right, we have to develop a new word, Securenication, for putting the best out of both worlds into one. Who are we? We are from Germany. We're in the north of Germany, in Bremen. And we found the far way to Dubai from us by meeting you, having good conversations with the next 3 days. And now we would like to talk a little bit about how we try to evolve, or how we try to do our business, to do information security management and information security combining with communication on our customers. But before we start that, we have to understand on which fundament, on which basement we are working, especially in the European Union, and what companies are facing, especially when it comes to tech. Because from our point of view, it's very often that we can talk about tech, but if we go to our customers, there are a lot of other problems they are facing with. And talking about cybersecurity itself, this is a current overview about the IT security situation, especially in Germany. As you might see, you told it every 93 seconds, something around that. We have something like an IT attack or something else, a vulnerability or ransomware, DDoS attack, something like that every 93 seconds. And I think in Germany it's even higher. In Germany, we have a federal ministry for security in information technology. In Germany, it's called BSI. I will come to that a little bit later. And this ministry, this public sector, is very important for us in our world because it has two very important topics, and one of us is building KPIs and try to have an overview about how the situation in Germany, or especially around the world, is, and also connecting throughout all the other industries and throughout all the other countries, building up our own KPIs. And especially if you take the upper right number, that in the year 2022, the BSI reported 15 million reports of malware attacks throughout every company in Germany. And if you count it now through 365, you get an idea of really how many attacks are in Germany happening day by day. We have 34,000, for instance, different versions of ransomware attacks just through mail every year. And this is the fact, this is the basement why we have to do something, and why we even have to talk about IT security when we talk about tech, digitalization, being pragmatic, or having new ideas, everything, we have to talk about IT security. And first of all, I thought, when we arrived in Dubai, and I take a look at the agenda, that we are not quite right here with our topic, because everything is so innovative. We talk about HI, we talk about ESG, we talk about so many topics which will be disruptive in the future, which is also a topic of mine as an investor. But cybersecurity, our company Securenication and our holding, maybe she isn't at the right spot here. And then we arrived Thursday night at Dubai here, and we drove this big highway through Palm Jumeirah, and I saw the big advertisement of Apple on the right side. Maybe you know where, I don't know the street name, but there was this big highway and there was this big advertisement placards on the right side. And having this thought in my mind, are we here at the right place with our topic? I just saw this big Apple advertisement, and they were not making advertisement for their new glasses or for their new iPhone. They were making advertisement of their security philosophy with this Apple mark and the keylog on top. And then I thought, great, Apple is talking about cybersecurity directly here in Dubai, so maybe we are also at the right spot. And especially taking you for the next 20 minutes into our situation in Germany, I think this is the chart where you say, all right, we have to talk about cybersecurity, and I'm very keen for the panel discussion tomorrow in regards own your data. But let's move on. The next thing you have to keep in mind when you talk about business in Germany, we did 2 years ago a research by asking all our customers and CEOs, what do you think, how many regulations, how many standards, and how many has-tos do you have facing year by year when you lead a company throughout the German world? And what we figured out that it's a number 150 plus, different laws, different standards, different legislations, anything. So it's something around 150. We did the same research out of Germany in other countries. We even go to the United States, or we go to the Middle East, and the number was significantly lower. So why I'm asking is, number one key driver in Germany for facing cybersecurity in their own company is not an intrusive motivation by saying I want to own my data. The key driver, number one in Germany, is legislation, regulation, laws given by the industry or given by the government itself. This is just an excerpt of all German relevant standards in regards to cybersecurity. Of course, we have something just for data security. Then if you're on hospital in Germany, for instance, you have an own regulation, even with some parts of cybersecurity in it. If you're on company building cars, it's different. If you're an airline, but at least we think we just have one big airline left in Germany, but if you're Lufthansa, for instance, you have an own regulation. But the problem is, as an industry, you cannot just go to saying, all right, I'm an airline, I'm a car producer, something like that, And now I can just go to directly this standard, directly go to this legislation, and then they say me, all right, this is the thing you need now. You have to try to find the best out of everything. And that's the reason why there are companies like Securenication helping our customers finding the right things in the right spot and building up into a management system. And these are 20, 21, and the problem is, in Germany, it's good that we have regulation as a driver, but it's also a stopper, because I don't know who, I saw that we have some German colleagues over here, which is very good, and I don't know who's not coming from Germany, ever had business in Germany. It can be very hard in regards to bureaucracy, and this is a stopper in Germany. It definitely is. Especially talking about AI, the call for regulation is coming directly with AI itself in our country. And this is, it's getting worse and worse. We have so many different laws, and for a company who wants to be pragmatic, who wants to work in regards to their own processes, and just not having the time by putting IT and cybersecurity or IT security next to each other because of lack of knowledge or time, it's very hard to understand as a company, not evolving this topic day by day. It's very hard to go through. So this is something you have to understand when you talk about security, when you talk about communication, especially in Germany, because understanding from our point of view has something to do with communication. Communication from the regulator throughout our industries, and there's definitely a gap in our world. So quickly, to give you, again, a little hint, who is this BSI I was talking about? BSI stands in German, Bundesamt für Sicherheit in der Informationstechnik, Federal Ministry for Security in Information Technology. So the good thing in Germany is definitely that we're having an own ministry just facing this topic. The bad thing is that we don't have the counterpart, a digital ministry, a digital public sector industry part in our regulation, because then they would balance, from our point of view, itself. And currently we are driving a little bit more the security topic than just having experts like here in this room, just talking about the tech we might need in our industry sectors. A good thing is, we have to talk about the good things more than about the bad things. We have in our world in Germany, we have clearly defined what are our critical processes in our country. And this is something where I am very proud of. Me personally worked together with the BSI at some parts by defining this. If you take a country itself, 360 degrees, there are processes which are very critical for the people living in that country, like gas, like electricity, hospital services, like if you're ill, you have to go to the hospital. For instance, our airlines or our airports, some of our parts are also part of our critical infrastructure. And we have clearly defined this infrastructure, which you can see in this circle here. We go also to our banks or financial industry in Germany, where we are very linked to. It's one of our key sectors in Germany, where we are consulting. And the good thing is that the government says, all right, if you are part of this critical infrastructure, you have to face with IT security. And how you should face with IT security, you can use our own standard. BSI has an own standard, or you use a different one. But how you do it, not our problem, but we will come in 3 years and take a look if you do it the way we would like to have it. This is how we do it, which is good in regards pushing our industry, in regards to IT, in regards to IT security, but we have to be better in regards to communication from our point of view. Because as a company, small, big, doesn't matter, or our midfield industry in Germany, which is our backbone in regards to German economy. There are companies that are older than 100 years, founded by the granddad, now in the 3rd to 5th generation. And these companies, they have a very strong economic sense, but they never had the time to think about security topics, because what you have to know, or what you might know, is that security earns no money. Security is always a cost thing, and at first you have to invest and don't have a direct reward if you talk about IT security or security itself. And that's the reason why it's so hard for so many companies start kicking off a security strategy in the company. And then there's the BSI said, all right, but you have to, because we are your regulator now, and you have to invest. But they leave them alone in regards to how and what's the key goal, and therefore there are companies like us in Germany. IT security, information security itself has a standard throughout the whole world how you manage information security. You have 3 goals you want to secure in IT security. You want to talk about confidentiality, you want to talk about availability, and you want to talk about integrity. And the good thing about this is, I can do it in Malaysia, I can do it in the United States, I can do it here in UAE, or I can do it in Germany. Everyone will understand that these are the main goals. And you can think of, to remind it, talking about the information itself. And information itself has three main goals I want to protect. Talking about how much money, for instance, you have in your bank account. You have now 3 KPIs you want to measure the criticality of this information. The first one is confidentiality. Is everyone allowed in this room to know how much money you have in your bank account? Definitely not. So the criticality of the information in regards to availability is very high. Now you can talk about integrity. How much is the integrity of this information? Also very high, because if your bank account says, all right, you have $1 million in your bank account, but the information is not true, bad luck for you. So the integrity is also a value, which is especially for this information very high. And then you can talk about availability, how easy you have access to do I have access to this information? The criticality in regards to your bank account would be more or less in the middle, because it depends. If you want to buy a house or a jet plane within the next 5 minutes, the availability is here. But if you plan to do it in 3 to 4 weeks, the availability value is maybe a little bit lower. But this is the sense of information security throughout the whole world. And if you talk about tech, if you talk about owning data, needing information in every process, you should think about this core value or this core system. What for data are we working in our process? What's the value for availability? What's the value for confidentiality? And if you go into some parts of the world, I think especially in North America, we have a 4th pillar now, talking about authenticity, which is a very technological value. So we have it here, not in our house and not in the perspective of this PowerPoint, but there's a fourth pillar. But in the European Union, and especially in Germany, we managed authenticity via the integrity. But this is just to give you a full view. In Germany, talking about the BSI has an own catalog of controls to secure or to give you a standard, maybe, on how you can build up an information security management system in your own company. But this is so big that it's very hard to understand it. How we explain it our customers is that you have to understand the process the BSI wants you to use the catalog. On the left side, we have the catalog, which is built up mainly if you talk about a process or if you talk about a system. And in general, there are around 1,800 controls in it. So 1,800 potential security requirements regarding of what I'm talking about. And this is something you have to understand. If we talk about an application, for instance, the whole catalog isn't relevant for me. It's just the part down on the left side, this one, because this part is especially about application. And what we developed is like a navigation system throughout this big catalog in Germany by finding together and automatically with our customers the right solution in the BSI catalog. So remember, BSI is saying, all right, you're a critical infrastructure now. You have to do IT security and you have to do it within the next 2 years, because if not, I'm coming to you with an audit and then everything will get worse in regards to your stress level and anything else. And then we said, all right, we have this BSI catalog, and we go now with you into this house, and we help you by finding the right things in it. And then you just have to evolve the things which are might interesting for you. It's, to be honest, not the part of the navigation system itself, where our customers are so happy is in regards to communication, that there is someone who's guiding me throughout this big world of technology, IT security, coming from firewalls over human firewalls, strengthened firewall, and everything else, and there's someone who's telling me, all right, you know what the right solution is, and please help me finding in that big house the right solution for me. What we also do in regards to how are we having this house here together, we try to measure the compliance rate of every security requirement itself which is relevant for us. And I don't want to go in detail, in more deep than it's on the slide. But what I want to tell you is that in information security itself, there's a big component called IT risk management. Because in the end, we definitely say that you don't have to fulfill all requirements as a company which are all around the world. Especially as a startup, and we know that quite for sure that as a startup, the first glance, it's so important to bring your processes in the world and to start up your economic reasons. And then you cannot talk about IT security at the beginning, because you would prevent from being published in the world, and you would collapse your own economic. And for that we said, all right, we have to use the component all around the world is so familiar, which is ISM, or IT security risk management. So for every security requirement we are not fulfilling properly, we try to take a look if there's a threat or vulnerability, especially linked to this security requirement, and then we build up a risk. And at the end we can say, all right, is it really dangerous for us that we as a company in this process with that IT system in the background are not fulfilling this security requirement? Because there can be reasons where it says, all right, it is really crucial that you implement this security requirement. Think of multi-factor authentication. I think it's crucial in the meantime. 10 years ago it was not. Or are there any security requirements which maybe, all right, have it or have it not? We find it out in regards to risk. And then we have a new KPI where we have the full transparency whether it's needed or not. And we communicate it to our CEO, or you can communicate it to our next head, or we can even communicate it to the BSI or to any other legislation in Germany. And in the end, this is just a matrix where you put in the end your values in, and then you can see whether is it a high risk or is it a low risk. Talking about communication in IT security is that you have to understand that there's difference between verbal and technical communication. And IT security, the last 10 to 15 years, where I also attended strongly the IT security part, is that all IT security architects, consultants, experts, when they meeting each other, they know definitely what they mean. They talk about all the security requirements as it would be so clear to have this IT security requirements fulfilled in a company. But the problem is, if you take an example company in Germany with around 10,000 employees, for instance, only 25 would be responsible for the part information security. And all of the others around this CISO team or what this information security team does not have the same understanding than the people itself in information security. So verbal communication, talking about IT security, talk about it in an understandable way, is a key success factor of a good and strong information security strategy in a company. That's the reason why we developed, next to an ISMS, who knows an ISMS in this room? Did anyone, Information Security Management System, did anyone get in touch with it? All right, what we said, we want to develop an SBMS, Social Behavior Management System, as a part in the Information Security Management System. Because what we say is, if you talk about 50% or 100% of your time you have in regards to information security, the budget in your company about IT security, you need at least the same budget and time in regards talking about the security requirements in an understandable way into your organization, because otherwise you have very expensive paper, you have very expensive processes, but no one knows it in the company. And that's the reason why we evolved this strengthened human firewall circle in the same way PDCA works in an ISMS itself. And we start with building basic awareness. This is like you go through training with someone like me or any other expert telling you that you need now a 15-digit password and you cannot use this and that word. So this is the basic thing. But we try to evolve it a little bit more by putting gamification in it. We try to develop a measurement to see, all right, what's really the need of the organization. And we try to do it also to build up a platform where you can use your knowledge, where you can evolve your knowledge automatically without having a lecturer in front of the audience. And gamification, for instance, if you want, we can talk a little bit later, because I see that my time on the left screen is a little bit running, and I would like to close with one important point. Gamification, it's like a station where you go and where you try to learn, like a game or something, why we have to do the sense of information security. What should be noted from my last half hour, I summed up in 3 to 4 facts. The first, Germans love regulation. They really do. I think we are the country with the most laws and the most regulations, I don't know, at least in the European Union, but I would not say if it's throughout the whole world. A management system like an ISMS is really crucial for talking about information security communication in itself. You need a management system, otherwise it won't work in the company. Human firewalls, like the human firewalls, they are key to a successful security strategy. And communication between departments, information security, business, sales, technological, the communication between them is the crucial key about preventing the attack itself. And with these 5 keys, I would like to close. Thank you so much for your attention. And if there are any questions, I'm here the next 3 days, so looking forward to any discussion with you. Thank you so much.